Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Thank you for joining us today for this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am going to be speaking with an amazing woman named Amber. When Amber got pregnant, she believed that her life was no longer her own. When her husband cheated on her with a friend, she was at an all-time low. Amber had a choice to make to continue to play the role of a victim of her life, girl, I get it, or to take back her power. Amber is here today to share her steps to regaining your power and recognizing your emotions in order to create awareness of who you are and the potential you hold. Welcome, Amber. To close up, I would love for you to speak directly to the females here that are watching. A lot of times we, as female, are humans, find ourselves in a predicament where we are living a life that is not authentic to ourselves, whether it's peer pressure from our spouse, our parents, our society, our environment. We're in jobs we don't necessarily appreciate. We're in relationships we don't necessarily appreciate. What would be one piece of advice that you would give to a female right now listening who's just feeling kind of stuck in her life?
You have choices. The people or the situations that have you feeling stuck right now are not in control.
Yeah.
You are in control. You have choices, and those choices might feel scary right now. The opposite, the things that you want, may kind of terrify you because perhaps it's unknown, perhaps it's something you haven't tried before, perhaps there's voices from other people, as Sabrina mentioned, telling you that you shouldn't do this, you couldn't do this, you can't do this. Yes, you can. If you decide that you want to, you can. You can learn anything you need to learn. You can grow in any way, shape, or form that you need to grow. You're a human with unlimited potential. You absolutely can. You just need to believe and decide.
Absolutely. I remember that was one of the first things when I first started getting into personal development that I would talk about. I'd be like, I didn't know that I had a choice. Yeah, I had no idea that I could do it different. Isn't that weird? And I consider myself a very smart person. And just recognizing that within myself, I'm like, there's so many people right now who are dealing with the same thing. They don't know that they can make a choice. That was perfect.
There's even times where I don't know that I can make a choice, even though I know I'm sitting here telling you, you have a choice.
Yeah.
But there are times when we're so wrapped up in what's going on.
Yeah.
Our vision is narrowed. Our point of focus is just narrowed to this event at this time, at this present moment, these feelings, how I am right now. And we forget that there is a world outside of this, there is a world beyond our vision, and we just start to open that up a little bit and give ourselves permission to choose.
Yeah.
And Yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you realize that there are actually choices you're making on a daily basis, because we operate subconsciously for so much. Like, I think there's an argument whether it's 95% or 99%, but let's just put it this way: most of your actions throughout your entire day come subconsciously. You don't think about them. The choices you make, you're not thinking about on a conscious level. So
I didn't realize it was that much.
yeah, have you seen
Like
that? I don't know
over
if you've seen this.
90%. Like even
So
if
it's
it's over
over
90%.
90%. So
Wow.
Sigmund Freud, who was the first person to, I believe, I'm like, should you quote me on that? I'm not sure if you could quote me on that directly, but I'm pretty sure it was Sigmund Freud, who basically was the first person to look at it as if it was like an iceberg. So he believed that our conscious mind was just above the surface of the water, just like the iceberg's tip, and most of the iceberg is submerged under the water, right? So this is our subconscious. Most of our programming, most of the way that we operate as a human being, as a person on a daily basis, is done on a subconscious level. And he said it was 90% to 10%. So 90% subconscious, 10% conscious. More recent articles that I've read between 95 and 5%, 99 and 1%.
Wow.
But it's a massive part of our day that we spend in our subconscious. And it means that we're not aware that we're making these decisions and choices, down to the smallest things like how you step out of bed in the morning. I remember, I think it's maybe The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. One of her books, in there is, she talks about, it might be The Power, but she talks about how you get out of bed in the morning, so that when you put your first foot on the floor, you think of something that you're grateful for in your life. And every step you take, to whether it's the kitchen that you go to first or the bathroom that you go to first, you consciously, every single step you take, you think about one thing in your life that you're grateful for on the way to get up. And this is how you wake up in the morning.
I love that.
And she just makes this as a suggestion of a way of breaking that pattern of waking up in the morning and feeling grouchy and rolling around and complaining that you've got to get up for work or whatever, and making yourself feel bad, actively making a choice to step out of bed thinking about the things that you're grateful for in your life. We don't realize that it's a subconscious level. I don't actively get up and think, oh, I'm going to stub my toe and feel really bad for the rest of the day, and I'm just going to let that negativity snowball throughout the day. We don't think about that. Yeah. But it is a choice that we can make. We can choose to do that differently.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely. I love that. What a way to close.
With choices. It's a beautiful way to close.
Yeah, definitely. That was powerful, 100%. Well, I want to thank you for hanging out and
thank you for having me.
And sharing. And do you have any closing thoughts before I close?
Only that if you have any questions about anything that we've discussed today, please pop them in the comments. Like if you're watching in the replay, I'll keep an eye on them. I'm sure Sabrina's always keeping an eye on them. So if you've got anything at all that you wanted to ask, or anything that you think of as you're listening back to this, or any time in the future, just raise them, and you can always contact me via Messenger. But I think it's really good if you do have questions, if you feel comfortable to ask them publicly, because then other women get to see those responses, and they get to grow, to understand and grow with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Well, this has been so fantastic. For those of you watching live right now, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, if you're watching on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay so that we know that you were here, and and we can send you some love. This has been the Her Version podcast. This community is expanding every single day, and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you follow, like, and share. If you have an amazing story to share of struggle to triumph, be sure to reach out to me and see if you can be a possible guest on this Her Version podcast. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others. Until next time, do something awesome today.